As you've learned before, acids have a relatively high concentration of H plus in them. That's what makes acids acids. And bases have a relatively high concentration of hydroxides in them. And sometimes it's more convenient to solve for the pOH or OH minus, especially if you're working with bases instead of acids. So there's an equation that looks just like the two we were talking about, just uses OH and pOH instead of H plus and pH, but mathematically identical. So if you had OH minus, 1 times 10 to the negative third, and we wanted the pOH, we would say, what is the power of our hydroxide? Well, the power is -3. Our equation says take the negative log, so flip the sign on our exponent. If we have something that's not a 1 times 10 to the something, we are still doing the same equation. We're still doing logs. We just need our calculator's help. So we would say, hey, calculator, what's the negative log of 2.38 times 10 to the negative 6th? And it would give you an answer of approximately 5.62. If your pOH is a whole number, it's telling you the power of your hydroxide is a -2. So 1 times 10 to the negative 2. If you have a decimal as a pOH, it's still the same thing, 1 times 10 to the negative 5.13. We just need our calculator's help turning that into a properly written number. So you could either write down decimal point with 5 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then approximately a 741. Or if your calculator was showing it in scientific notation mode, 7.41 times 10 to the negative 6th. Either one of these is fine. Make sure you are aware that these two numbers would be the same number. So if you saw the top number on my answer key and you wrote down the bottom number, or vice versa, that you would know what to do and say, oh yeah, those are the same thing. So there's our pH scale, 0 to 14. Anything between 0 and 7 is acidic, exactly 7 neutral, and above 7 up to 14 is basic. Two final relationships you'll see and might find helpful in this chapter are that the pH and pOH always add up to 14. So if you knew the pH of your substance was 1.78 and you wanted the pOH, you could just subtract 1.78 from 14 and get your pOH. You can assume that 14 is a perfect 14, so like 14.000000 goes on to infinity. Okay. If your OH minus was 6.32 times 10 to the negative 9th, and you wanted the H plus, you can see from the equation up above that they always multiply to be 1 times 10 to the negative 14th. So if I did 1 times 10 to the negative 14th over my 6.32 times 10 to the negative 9th, this would give me my H plus concentration. Depending on how your calculator, if it's showing it as a regular number or a scientific notation number, you might be getting 5 zeros and then a 158, or in scientific notation mode, 1.58 times 10 to the negative 6th.